everyone. Welcome back to the Incredible India podcast series. I'm Sam, and joining me today for another fascinating deep dive is Taylor.
Hi, Sam. It's great to be back. Always fascinating topics.
Absolutely. And today, well, we're diving into something that feels so simple, doesn't it? That circle, zero. We barely even notice it most of the time.
That's right. It's fit there.
But centuries ago, this symbol, this idea of zero, it was revolutionary. It was a puzzle, almost a philosophical riddle, you know? And it ended up changing, well, everything. Science, trade, the lot.
Yeah, it's an incredible story. And our mission today, really, is to follow that journey.
Yeah.
How did this concept travel?
Yeah.
From its intellectual birthplace in India all the way to the glittering courts of Baghdad. And how did it go from being about nothing to being the key to pretty much everything for us now?
And to kick things off, we're actually going to start, maybe unexpectedly, in the world of the Arabian Nights. We're looking at Jafar ibn Yahya, you know, the vizier to Caliph Harun al-Rashid. He's this figure who's part history, part legend. And his world, Baghdad, that's where this idea of, well, mathematical nothingness really stepped onto the world stage.
Definitely. That's the perfect place to start.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Before we get to the nothing itself, we need to picture this place, this time. Baghdad, 9th century CE.
Yeah, and it's crucial, to understand this wasn't, well, it wasn't the Baghdad, perhaps we might imagine, from recent history. This was a shining capital of the Islamic Golden Age, a real global center.
So what did that look like?
Feel like? Oh, you have to imagine streets just buzzing. Merchants from literally everywhere, China, India, Africa, Byzantium, ideas flowing like goods. You'd have scholars arguing philosophy in gardens, astronomers peering at stars from observatories, musicians in palaces. It was incredibly vibrant.
And the Caliph, Harun al-Rashid, he's the one from 1001 Nights.
The very same.
Right.
And his key advisor, his vizier, was Jafar ibn Yahya al-Barmaki. This is our Jafar. And Jafar wasn't just some administrator. He was known for his intellect, his interest in science, in arts. He and his family, the Barmakids, were huge patrons. They supported scholars, poets, thinkers, travelers. They really fostered this incredible atmosphere of learning.
So they were crucial in making Baghdad this intellectual powerhouse.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And central to that was the House of Wisdom, the Beit al-Hikmah. Think of it as this massive institute dedicated to gathering knowledge. They were translating texts.
From where?
From ancient Greece, from Persia, and key for our story from India. Translating them all into Arabic.
So Baghdad was truly this crossroads, not just for silk and spices, but for ideas.
Exactly. It was the place where civilizations met and exchanged concepts, including this really powerful, maybe slightly strange idea of a circle for nothing.
Right. So Baghdad is this amazing melting pot, this incubator, but you said that the idea itself, the circle for nothing, it didn't start there. Where did it come from originally?
Yeah, that's the next step, isn't it? We need to go back further, centuries before Baghdad's peak glory. The intellectual groundwork was really laid in India. Indian mathematicians, philosophers, they were wrestling with deep questions about numbers, reality, even emptiness itself.
Emptiness. How does that connect?
Well, the Indian word they used was shunya. It means void or emptiness. It started as a philosophical or maybe spiritual concept.
Okay, I see. Like an absence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then it started to gain a mathematical meaning, too.
So how does it go from being this abstract void to something you can actually use in maths?
That's the crucial step. And a key figure here is the scholar Brahmagupta. He lived in the 7th century CE. His major work, the Brahmasudha Siddhanta, well, it did something truly groundbreaking. It took Shinya and treated it not just as a placeholder, but as an actual number.
A number in its own right, like 1 or 2.
Precisely. He laid down rules. How to add zero, subtract it, what happens when you multiply by zero. Even the tricky part about dividing by zero, those ideas there were still developing.
Wow. That's a huge conceptual leap, isn't it? Giving nothing mathematical rule.
It really was. It wasn't just about calculation. It was about formalizing the concept of absence in mathematics. And this paved the way for things like negative numbers, eventually algebra.
And it's the foundation for the system we all use now, right? The decimal place value system.
Exactly that. The idea that a digit's value depends on its position. The 1 in 10 means something different from the 1 in 100 or 1,000.
All thanks to having that zero to hold the place.
Right. Without zero as a placeholder and a number, that system just doesn't work efficiently.
So India develops this incredibly powerful system, making calculations, especially with large numbers, so much easier.
Oh, vastly easier. Think about Roman numerals. Try doing multiplication or division with those. It's a nightmare.
Yeah, I can't even imagine trying to run an empire's finances like that.
Exactly. So this Indian system, with its 10 digits, including 0, starts to travel west. The caravans carried more than silk. They carried knowledge, sometimes on fragile palm leaf manuscripts. Imagine seeing those symbols for the first time. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then this strange, empty circle. Shunya. What power did it hold?
Okay, so we have the idea developed in India. We have Baghdad as the center ready to receive knowledge. How does the handover happen? The story of the sage arriving, it almost feels like legend.
It does have that quality, doesn't it? But it perfectly shows how knowledge travels, sometimes person to person. The accounts tell of a caravan arriving at Caliph Harun al-Rashid's court, from Hind, from India. But they weren't laden with jewels. They brought scrolls. And with them, an Indian scholar, a sage.
And the Caliph welcomes him. Who else there? Jafar must have been keenly interested, right?
Absolutely. Picture Jafar, eyes sharp, heart hungry for wisdom, as one source puts it. He knew this could be significant. The Caliph asks the sage, what treasure do you bring?
Instead of gold.
He unrolls a manuscript. And there they are. Those symbols, 1, 2, 3. And the hollow circle.
The 0. What did the sage say about it? How did he explain it?
He called it Shunya. He said, it is the nothing that makes everything possible. The beautiful phrase. He explained, with this, you can count the stars, you can count coins in the market, anything, easily. Without it, your numbers struggle.
And Jafar, being the practical vizier managing a huge empire, surely he was a bit skeptical, nothing having value.
You hit it exactly.
Huh.
The sources say Jafar questioned it. How can nothing and absence have value? How does it do anything?
Yeah.
And the sage's reply is just profound. Apparently, he smiled and said something like, without nothing, there's no 10, no 100, no 1,000. Nothing gives place to something. In this emptiness lies infinity.
Wow. That's almost mystical, but also perfectly logical for mathematics.
Isn't it? It captures both the philosophical depth and the practical power.
And the Caliph, he saw the potential.
Immediately. He was reportedly delighted. He ordered the manuscripts translated into Arabic right away. And fittingly, he put Jafar in charge of overseeing the translation, making sure this Indian wisdom took root in Baghdad.
Okay, so the seed is planted in Baghdad. This nothing from India is now being studied, translated, understood. What happens next? How does it go from Baghdad to, well, us, to being the bedrock of the modern world?
Well, the impact in Baghdad itself was immense and quite rapid. You have scholars using it for astronomy, much more accurate calculations of planets, stars, calendars became possible.
Right.
Merchants loved it for accounting. Suddenly, complex trade accounts, interest, it all became manageable.
I bet.
Engineers used it in architecture, allowing for more complex designs, better calculations for building. It just spread through the intellectual and practical life of the city.
And it wasn't just 0, it was the whole system, the numerals, too, that they adopted.
Yes, exactly. That's why we now call them the Hindu-Arabic numerals. The system, including 0, developed in India, was transmitted and popularized through the Arab world.
And then it moves west, towards Europe.
Slowly, but yes. It traveled, often through trade and scholarship, especially into Al-Andalus, Muslim Spain, and then Italy. Texts were translated from Arabic into Latin. And European scholars started to see the power of this system compared to their Roman numerals.
Which must have seemed incredibly clunky by comparison.
Oh, completely. Try multiplying MCCLX4 by X8. It's a nightmare. The Hindu-Arabic system made complex math accessible.
And wasn't Fibonacci involved in popularizing it in Europe?
He was a key figure, yes. Leonardo of Pisa, known as Fibonacci. He traveled in North Africa, learned the system from Arab merchants, and recognized its superiority. His book, Liber Abaci, published in 1202, was hugely influential in promoting the use of these numerals in Europe, especially for commerce.
So from India through Baghdad, through scholars like Fibonacci, it spreads.
And it becomes indispensable. Honestly, you just can't imagine modern science without it, or banking, or computers.
Everything digital relies on it, doesn't it? Ones and zeros.
Fundamentally, it really is that nothing that enables everything in our digital age. It's the silent foundation.
It's incredible. Such a simple circle, but with this epic history connecting cultures, continents.
It really is. And it makes you see figures like Jafar differently, too. Popular culture, like Disney's Aladdin, often paints him as just a villain.
Right, the sorcerer type.
Yeah. But the historical Jafar, the vizier to Harun al-Rashid, he was this facilitator of knowledge, a patron of science, playing a key role in this huge intellectual transfer. The legend and the history are quite different.
That's a great point. It shows history is often more complex and maybe more interesting than the stories.
And it hammers home that theme, doesn't it? That knowledge doesn't really care about borders. Ideas travel.
They flow between civilizations. Why does the story still matter so much, do you think?
Well, I think for anyone interested in the world, in how cultures connect, it's a powerful reminder. It shows how interconnected we are, how progress often comes from sharing, from being open to ideas from elsewhere. When you think about, say, the ruins of Nalanda University in India, where Brahmagupta's ideas flourished, or you try to imagine the lost House of Wisdom in Baghdad, you're thinking about the birthplaces of the modern mathematical world.
It connects us directly back to those places, those times.
Exactly. The journey of zero is like this invisible thread linking us all back through centuries of human curiosity and collaboration.
So maybe the next time any of us sees a zero on a screen, in a book, wherever,
Yeah.
we should think about more than just the number. Think about India, Baghdad, the scholars, the trade routes, that whole amazing journey.
Absolutely. Consider the millennia of human connection packed into that simple circle. And it makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other seemingly simple ideas out there right now might just be waiting to reshape our future in ways we can't even guess?
That's a fascinating thought to end on. This has been an incredible deep dive, really tracing that line from ancient India to our world today through this one symbol.
It really shows the power of an idea and the importance of that cultural exchange.
Absolutely. Now, if this talk of history and culture inspires you to travel, especially to India, we do have a recommendation. Five Senses Tours organizes tours across India, focusing on really immersive cultural experiences.
They sound great.
Yeah, you can find out more by emailing them at contact@fivesensestours.com. That's the numeral 5 in the email. Or you can reach them on WhatsApp at +919 845 677 446.
Good to know.
Definitely worth checking out if you're planning a trip. Thanks again for this fantastic conversation.
My pleasure, Sam. Always enjoy these deep dives.